Running Lean, 3rd edition, by Ash Maurya. Picture this: two bright-eyed entrepreneurs, Steve and Larry, standing at the exact same starting line. Same university, same grades, same high-tech startup job, both brilliant, both hungry. And on the very same day, lightning strikes them both with an idea so electrifying, they quit their jobs to chase it. Fast forward 12 months, and it's like they've been living on different planets. Steve? He's still hunched over his laptop in a cramped apartment, debugging code at 2 in the morning. No customers, no revenue, just him, a dream, and a rapidly shrinking bank account. He's taking freelance gigs to survive, telling himself he's almost there. Meanwhile, Larry's got a buzzing office, customers lining up, revenue rolling in, and a team that's actually excited to come to work. People are using his product, recommending it, and most importantly, paying for it. So what happened? Did Larry get lucky? Was he just more talented? Nope. The difference wasn't luck or genius. It was something much more fundamental: how they thought about building their business. Today, we're cracking open Running Lean by Ash Maurya, a book that's basically a survival guide for anyone trying to turn a crazy idea into something real. It's about the journey from Plan A, that beautiful vision in your head, to a plan that actually survives contact with reality. By the time we're done, you'll understand exactly what separated Steve from Larry. You'll discover the single most dangerous trap that kills almost every new venture. And you'll learn how to avoid becoming another cautionary tale. Ready? Let's rewind the clock 12 months and watch this story unfold. Our tale begins with Steve at a crossroads. His company just got acquired, and the new owners are shutting down his office. Relocate or take the severance. For Steve, this feels like destiny knocking. He's been dreaming of starting his own thing since forever. With a year's savings plus severance money, he thinks, the universe is literally handing me this opportunity. He's got this killer idea for an augmented reality product that's been consuming his thoughts for months. The very next day, he pulls the trigger, takes the money, becomes an entrepreneur. And what's his first move? He starts building, immediately. He dives into the code like a man possessed, determined to build it the right way. Perfect architecture, clean code. He figures 3 months, tops, until launch. But funny thing about building products, everything takes longer than you think. Weeks melt into months. 6 months later, the product's still not finished. His bank account is looking scary. Panic starts creeping in. He needs help, so he reaches out to his developer buddies, offering generous equity stakes. But they're comfortable in their well-paid jobs. They can't see what he sees. Why would they jump ship for something that's still just code on a screen? Steve chalks it up to their lack of vision. Time for Plan B: raise money. He gets some investor introductions and pours weeks into crafting the perfect business plan. He builds this elaborate financial model, and the more he tweaks the numbers, the more convinced he becomes that he's sitting on a gold mine. The projections look so good, he actually dials them back to seem credible. The investor meetings are nerve-wracking at first, but he gets into a rhythm. Here's the thing, though. Nobody actually says no. Instead, he keeps hearing, "Love the concept, but you're a bit early for us," or "Circle back with us in 6 months." His mentor eventually breaks the news. Those are just polite rejections. Steve's stuck in the ultimate catch-22. Investors won't give him money until the product's done. But he can't finish the product without money. So what does he do? He crawls back to his apartment and starts freelancing to keep the lights on, working on his dream project whenever he can scrape together the energy. Progress slows to a crawl, but hey, at least he's still in the game, right? Now let's hit rewind. Larry got his brilliant idea on the exact same day as Steve. But Larry didn't rush to start coding. He didn't draft a business plan. He understood something crucial about how the world had changed. Back in the day, building software was expensive and difficult. If you could actually build something, that alone was impressive enough to get funded. But today, building is the easy part. It's cheaper than ever. The real question isn't, can we build it? The real question is, should we build it? And more importantly, will anyone actually care? Larry grasped a truth that Steve completely missed. Investors today don't throw money at clever ideas or cool technology. They invest in one thing: traction. Traction is everything. It's proof that people besides you and your mom actually want what you're making. It's evidence that you've got a business, not just a hobby. But wait, how do you get traction without a product? Aren't we back in that same impossible situation? Not even close. This is where the first major mindset shift happens. It's a mantra that Ash Maurya hammers home throughout the book. Love the problem, not your solution. Here's the thing. Customers don't care about your elegant code or your sleek interface. They care about their problems. If you can genuinely solve a painful problem for them, they'll pay attention. They'll pull out their wallets. They'll become loyal customers. So instead of spending months building, Larry spent a single afternoon doing something completely different. He grabbed a piece of paper and sketched out his entire business model using a deceptively simple tool called the lean canvas. Think of the lean canvas as a blueprint that fits on one page. It replaces those soul-crushing 40-page business plans with 9 straightforward boxes. It forces you to break down your idea into the assumptions that actually matter. On the right side, you identify your customer segments. Who exactly are you building for? And your early adopters, that specific first group you'll target. As Mary later tells Steve, when you try to market to everyone, you reach no one. Larry knew he had to be laser-focused from day one. Then there's the problem box. What are the top 3 problems your early adopters are wrestling with? And right below that, existing alternatives. How are they solving this problem today? Because trust me, they are solving it somehow, with clunky spreadsheets, endless email chains, or just good old manual grunt work. That's your real competition. Dead center on the canvas sits your unique value proposition, your UVP. This is your headline, your hook. It's one clear, compelling sentence that explains why you're different and worth someone's precious attention. It's not a feature list. It's a promise of a better future. For example, a feature might be professionally designed templates. The benefit is an eye-catching resume. But the outcome, what people actually want, is landing your dream job. You always sell the outcome. Then you've got the solution box, but notice how small it is on the canvas. Maurya did that deliberately. As creators, we naturally obsess over this part, but the solution is just one piece of a much bigger puzzle. Your real product isn't your app or your website. Your real product is the entire business model. That's the second major insight. Your business model is the product. The remaining boxes help you think through the business mechanics, your channels, how you'll reach customers, your revenue streams and cost structure, how you'll make money and spend it, your key metrics, how you'll measure progress, and finally, your unfair advantage, something that can't be easily copied or bought. Larry sketched his entire canvas in about 20 minutes. He didn't agonize over making it perfect. It was just a snapshot of his best guess, his plan A. But here's the brilliant move. He didn't stop there and start building. He recognized that his canvas was full of guesses, assumptions, hypotheses. And the most dangerous thing any entrepreneur can do is confuse guesses with facts. So his next step wasn't to build the product. His next step was to figure out which parts of his plan were riskiest and test them systematically. This brings us to another crucial mindset: right action, right time. In today's world, the biggest risk isn't technical, Can we build it? It's customer and market risk. Will they buy it? And can we build a sustainable business around it? So Larry prioritized testing what was riskiest, not what was easiest or most fun. And here's the kicker, he didn't need a working product to do this. He just needed conversations with real people. He tracked down 10 potential early adopters and talked with them. But he didn't pitch his amazing solution. He did the exact opposite. He focused entirely on them and their problems. He was validating whether the problems on his canvas were real, urgent, and painful enough to be worth solving. Once he'd validated the problem, he moved to the next step. But he still didn't build the full product. Instead, he threw together a simple demo, maybe some mock-ups, a slide deck, or even just a video, and he crafted an offer. An offer is your unique value proposition, plus pricing, plus a clear call to action. He went back to those potential customers and said, I'm building something that will solve this problem for you. It'll look something like this. It'll cost this much. Will you prepay today to be one of my first users? This is the moment of truth. Asking for someone's time and opinions is easy. Asking for money is hard. Getting someone to pay for something that doesn't exist yet, that's the strongest signal of real interest you can possibly get. Maurya calls this a mafia offer, so compelling they can't refuse. While Steve was following the old playbook of build, demo, sell, Larry was running the new playbook, demo, sell, build. Within 8 weeks, Larry had defined his minimum viable product and had a pipeline of paying customers waiting for it. And what exactly is an MVP? It's not some buggy, embarrassing prototype. Maurya defines it beautifully. An MVP is the smallest solution that creates, delivers, and captures customer value. It's not about being cheap or rushed. It's about being focused enough to maximize learning. With paying customers already committed, Larry spent the next 4 weeks building only the essential features needed to deliver on his promise. He didn't do some big, splashy launch with press releases and fanfare. He soft-launched to just those first 10 customers and gave them an absolutely incredible white-glove experience. He was on the phone with them constantly, responding to every email, treating them like VIPs. He knew that in the early days, you have to do things that don't scale. Those first 10 customers became raving fans. Their feedback helped him refine the product. Their testimonials helped him attract the next 100 customers. And the fact that he had happy, paying customers, real traction, made it easy to recruit talented people to join his team. So by the end of that year, Larry had everything Steve was still dreaming about: growing customers, growing revenue, and a growing team. He didn't get there by working harder than Steve. He got there by working smarter. He followed a systematic process of sketching his idea, identifying his biggest risks, and testing his assumptions. This is the heart of running lean. Let's circle back to Steve. His story doesn't end in that lonely apartment. About 18 months into his journey, a friend texts him, "Dude, have you seen what Virtuoso X just launched? It's basically your idea." Steve's stomach drops. He clicks the link. Sure enough, a competitor has launched, gotten press coverage, and announced major funding. He feels physically sick. All that work, all that sacrifice, for nothing. But after the initial shock wears off, a new thought emerges. What good is a better solution if I launch too late, or never launch at all? He realizes he needs to completely change his approach. Desperate for guidance, he reaches out to Mary, his old manager, who's now running a successful startup. They grab lunch. Steve shows off his impressive AR demo. Mary's genuinely wowed by the technology. Then Steve lays out his plan. Get funding, hire developers, launch in 3 months. Mary listens patiently, then asks a simple, devastating question. Would you rather spend the next 6 months pitching to investors or pitching to customers? She explains that raising money without traction is a full-time job. It'll eat at least 6 months, during which he'll make zero progress on the product. He can't afford to wait that long. You need to get to an MVP that customers actually want, she tells him. Steve, eager to finally make progress, completely misunderstands her advice. He goes home, strips down the product he's already built, and launches it as an MVP within a week. He gets tons of sign-ups through sites like Product Hunt, but almost nobody sticks around. Retention is abysmal. Nobody upgrades to the paid tier. He concludes his MVP just isn't good enough. It's missing that one killer feature. He's about to dive back into building when he meets with Mary again. Mary asks him, "Have you actually talked to any of your users?" Steve's confused. "Talk to them? No, but I've got analytics tracking everything." Mary sighs. "That was exactly our mistake, too. Metrics can tell you what's happening, but they can't tell you why. You have to actually talk to people, Steve." That's when Mary realizes Steve's fundamental misunderstanding. The point of an MVP isn't to ship something fast and cross your fingers. That's like crafting a key and then wandering around hoping to find a door it unlocks. The right way, she explains, is to start with the door. Start with the problem. She walks him through the process her company followed. They didn't start with an MVP, they started with an offer. They sketched their idea on a lean canvas. They interviewed a couple dozen customers to understand their problems deeply. Then they built a demo, crafted an offer, and got customers to commit before writing a single line of code. It took them about 90 days to go from a napkin sketch to their first 5 paying customers. They followed the demo sell build playbook. This is a revelation for Steve. He's spent 18 months doing it his way, and it hasn't worked. He's finally ready to try something different. He's ready to become a real innovator. Mary sends him a roadmap showing the journey from idea to the holy grail of startups, product market fit. But before you can get there, you have to achieve problem-solution fit. This is the critical first stage, and it's entirely about validating that you've got a problem worth solving and a solution people will actually pay for. Over the following months, Steve follows this new path. He breaks down his big vision into several specific lean canvases. He realizes his initial idea, a general platform for all developers, is way too broad. He creates separate canvases for specific use cases. One for architects creating 3-dimensional models for clients. Another for online furniture retailers wanting to show customers how a couch would look in their living room. These new canvases are narrow and specific. Clear customer, burning problem, compelling value proposition. Now he needs to stress test these models. He uses 2 powerful techniques from the book. First, to test desirability, he uses something called the innovator's gift. The concept is elegant. New problems worth solving always emerge from old solutions. Think about music. We switched from cassettes to CDs not for better sound quality, but to escape rewinding and fast-forwarding. We jumped from CDs to MP3 players to avoid buying entire albums for one song. Each innovation solved a frustration with the previous approach. Steve realizes his competition isn't other AR platforms. For architects, the competition is the slow, clunky CAD software they use today. For retailers, it's the fact that customers can't visualize furniture, leading to expensive returns. He reframes his product, not as cool new technology, but as a better way to solve old, nagging frustrations. Second, to test viability, he does a quick, back-of-the-envelope calculation. This isn't some complex financial model. It's a simple gut check. He starts by defining his minimum success criteria. What's the smallest outcome that would make this worth his time in 3 years? He settles on $10 million in annual revenue. Then, he does the math. At his original price of $50 a month, he'd need over 16,000 active customers to hit that goal. And because of customer churn, he'd need to attract over 34,000 new leads every single month just to maintain that revenue, let alone grow. The numbers are absolutely staggering. His business model, as currently designed, is completely broken. It will never work. This realization is crushing, but it's also incredibly liberating. Better to discover this in 5 minutes with a calculator than after 5 years of grinding. He sees that the most powerful lever he can pull is pricing. He'd been anchoring his price against other developer tools, but now he anchors against the value he creates. If he can save an architect 180 hours of work on a single project, a project that bills for $15,000, couldn't he charge way more than $50 a month? Absolutely. He realizes he can charge 10 times his original price, which means he needs 1/10 the customers. Suddenly, his business model looks not just viable, but attractive. Armed with these new, stress-tested models, Steve's no longer just an artist in love with his technology. He's an innovator on a mission to find a repeatable, scalable business model. He's got a plan. He knows who to talk to, what questions to ask, and how to test his riskiest assumptions. The rest of his journey isn't some fairy tale straight shot to success. There are setbacks and surprises, but because he's now focused on learning and adapting, he can make small course corrections along the way, avoiding the catastrophic failures that wasted his first 18 months. Over the following months, Steve finally achieves what he'd been chasing all along: paying customers, growing revenue, and a talented team. He's become Larry, not by changing his idea, but by completely changing how he thinks. What a journey, right? The story of Steve and Larry isn't just a narrative device. It's the story of practically everyone who's ever tried to create something new. We all start out as Steve. We fall head over heels for our solution, our beautiful, brilliant idea. We work in isolation, convinced that if we just build it right, the world will beat a path to our door. And the core lesson of running lean is that this approach, while romantic and appealing, is fundamentally broken in today's world. The most powerful idea in this book is the shift from being solution-obsessed to being problem-obsessed. Love the problem, not your solution. It sounds almost too simple, but it's a profound change in how you see everything. When you love your solution, any feedback that doesn't validate it feels like a personal attack. You get defensive, you make excuses. When you love the problem, you become a curious detective. You want to understand every nuance of your customer's struggle. Your solution becomes a flexible tool designed for one purpose: solving that problem better than anything else out there. The lean canvas is the practical tool that enables this transformation. It forces you to look at the entire business ecosystem, not just your product. It turns a fuzzy, complicated idea into a clear set of testable hypotheses. It's a living document, a map that helps you navigate through the fog. What I find most brilliant about Ash Maurya's approach is how empowering it is. The traditional entrepreneurship path often feels like an all-or-nothing bet. You spend a year or more building in secret, then you launch with great fanfare, holding your breath and hoping the world cares. Running lean offers a completely different path. It's a path of small, calculated steps, a journey of continuous learning and adaptation. It's a process that reduces risk not by avoiding failure, but by failing small, failing fast, and failing cheap. So how can you apply this in your own life, starting right now? First, if you've got an idea bouncing around in your head, spend 20 minutes sketching out a lean canvas. don't overthink it. Just get your assumptions out of your head and onto paper. This single act will bring more clarity than weeks of just thinking about it. Second, think about the innovator's gift. What's the old way you're trying to replace? Don't just focus on direct competitors. Think about behaviors and workarounds. Is your competition a messy spreadsheet? A series of frantic emails? A sticky note on someone's monitor? Identify the hidden frustrations with that old way. That's where your opportunity is hiding. And third, run that 5-minute back-of-the-envelope calculation. Define what success actually looks like for you. Be brutally honest about what would make this journey worthwhile. Then, do the rough math on pricing and customer numbers. Does your model actually have a chance on paper? If not, what lever can you pull to fix it? This simple exercise can save you from months or even years of chasing something that was never going to work. That was a summary of Running Lean by Ash Maurya. We've explored the big ideas today, but a summary is like looking at a map of a beautiful country. It can show you the landmarks and major highways, but it can't replace actually walking the trails, meeting the locals, and discovering the hidden spots for yourself. The real value of this book is in its detailed, step-by-step guidance. If any part of Steve's journey resonated with you, if you felt that uncomfortable recognition in his struggles, I'd encourage you to grab a copy. Reading it isn't just about learning new tactics. It's about internalizing a new mindset that can fundamentally change how you bring ideas to life. You'll find a link to the book in the description below. Also, if you found this summary valuable, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps us know we're on the right track and makes sure you won't miss our next deep dive into another transformative book from the billionaire's bookshelf. Let's keep learning and growing together.